Hello guys, in this video we will cover constructor static keyword and this keyword. First we will understand through theory and then we will see the coding part. So I will start from the constructor. So in the previous video we have seen the method, object and class. Now we are going to see the constructor. So what is the constructor? First we will understand what is a constructor. So basically, constructor is a special type of method which is used to initialize the object. Let me write this definition here. It is, let me unbold it. It is a special type of method which is used to initialize the object. We will see how we can initialize the object in the programming. So there are few points which we need to see. Or like all points should cover. Likewise, first point we have a constructor name must be the same name as it's a class name. So whatever the class name will be there, same name will be with constructor. So first point is constructor name must be the same name as its class name. Constructor name must be the same name as its class name. Second point is constructor must have no explicit return type. You have seen in the method we use void, that is a return type. But in the constructor we will use none of the return type. Return type will not be there. So second point is a constructor must have no explicit return type. The third point is Java constructor cannot be abstract, static, final, and synchronized. We cannot use any access modifier like abstract, static, final, and synchronize. So let me write a Java constructor cannot be abstract, static, final, and synchronized. We will see in programming as well these points, which I have written these 3 points. And there are two types of constructor. First one is default constructor, types of constructor. So first one is default constructor. Second one is parameterized constructor. Let me make size bigger. So this is a first type, default constructor, and second one is parameterized constructor. Let me write a program so that you will clear each and every point. First, I will create one package. Constructor. in Java. Now I will create with the name of default constructor. First we will understand default constructor. So now class got created. So now let me write a main method, control and space bar. Now we can create an object. Is equal to new. See, so simply I have created one default constructor class and I have created a main method and created an object. Now I will write one statement here in the class. Sys out. Sys out. And here I'm printing default constructor. See, so if I am not writing, if I suppose that if I am not creating any constructor, see, as of now, I have not created any constructor, just created one class, one main method, one statement, simple one statement, and I have created one object. But I have not created any constructor, neither default constructor nor any parameterized constructor. But if I will run this program, then compiler automatically consider it is a default constructor. So when you won't provide any constructor, then compiler automatically pick the default constructor. So if I'll run this program, see, and I have not uh, like call any method because method is not there and constructor is also not there. But what happened when we create this object, right? Constructor automatically get called. So if I will run this program, then it will give the output. Let me run this program. See, it is giving an output, default constructor. Let me create a default constructor here. How we can create a default constructor? This is a class name. So what I said, see, it is a special type of method. See, we are creating just like a method only. Just we are not writing any. If I will write here void, then it will work as a method. But what it is saying, constructor must have no explicit return type. So that's why we are not using any return type. I will remove this void. So if I'll remove the return type, then it will work as a constructor. And why I'm saying it is a default constructor, because I am not passing any parameter. So it will work as a default constructor. So if I'll use this constructor, then it will work as a default constructor. If I will not use this constructor, then still compiler will consider as a default constructor. So if I will run this program now, then again it will print the same output. So this is a default constructor. So let me go through the each and every point. So what it is saying, constructor name must be the same name as its class name. Constructor name is the same name as it's a class name. Constructor name and class name both are the same. Second point, it is saying constructor must have no any explicit return type. I am not using any return type here. Third point, it is saying a Java constructor cannot be abstract. If I will write abstract, see, it is giving an error. See what it is saying? Remove invalid modifiers. We cannot use abstract abstract in constructor. So I will remove this abstract. Now we can try to check with the static. See, constructor cannot be static. If I'll use final, constructor cannot be final. If I'll use synchronized, this synchronized, see, again it is giving an error. So I will remove this. So that's why third point is saying a Java constructor cannot be abstract, static, final, and synchronized. So we have seen all 3 points. And the first point is saying, this definition is saying it is just like a method and it is used to initialize the object. So we will see in another class, in another program. So let me write one more program. I will create one more class. So I will create with the name of default constructor program 1, or we can say 2. So we are going to see another scenario of default program or default constructor. So again, in this default constructor, I will initialize some value. I will provide some data member, like suppose that default constructor have some ID, and I will take some name. If I'm taking name, then name always be in string, so data type will be string type, and string is a non-primitive data type and int is a primitive data type. So now I will again create a default constructor. So constructor name must be the same name as a class name. So this is a default constructor. Again, I'm creating a default constructor. I will put some statement. Suppose that I want to print this ID and name. So how we can print? I will write ID plus, and then we can give some space. How we can give some space? We can put some uninvited comma, and then we can pass this name. Then what it will do? It will print the value of ID and name. Now I will create one main method. And after that we can create an object. So in the method, what we were doing, object 1 is equal to new. So in the method, what we were doing, with the help of this reference ID, we were calling to the method. But here we don't need to call. After, while creating this object, constructor automatically will fire and it will give an output. It will automatically get called while creating this object. So here you don't need to call. It is unlike a method. So if I'll run this program, what it will give output? Since it is a default constructor, it will give 0 and null, because we are not passing any value of this ID and name. It is a default constructor. Let me run this program. It will give an output 0 and null. See, this is output because this is a default constructor. If I'll remove this constructor here from here, then again we will get the same output, because compiler will assume default constructor. If I'll run this program, again it is giving an output 0 and null. So this is a second scenario of default constructor. Now we will see the parameterized constructor where we pass some parameter. Let me create a program, another class, that is parameterized constructor. Parameterized constructor. So in the parameterized constructor, what we will do, we will pass some parameter. Again, we will take some ID, some name, and name data type will be string. And here I will create a constructor, and we will pass the parameter as well. How we can pass the parameter? Suppose that ID always will be integer. So I will take a int, or here you can write ID and comma, name will be in a string. So I will take string, and here we can put some name. And now we will initialize this value. How we can initialize? I will initialize like this. ID is equal to ID and name is equal to name. What it will do? This ID refers to this ID. This name will refer to this name. We will also understand this keyword. If I will use here this keyword, then again what it will do? It will refer the data member of current class. But as of now, I'm not using. I will explain you first and then I will use. So now what we can do? We can give some statement and we can print the value of ID and name. Again, I want to print value of ID and name. So let me write ID plus, we can give some space, plus and name. Now we can create one main method. Again, now I'm going to create a object. So again, obj is equal to new. See, it is giving an error. Why it is giving an error? Because it is saying pass some value of this parameter. Since we have given this parameter, right? So we will have to pass value of ID and name. So until you are not providing the value, it will give an error. What it is saying? Add argument to match parameterized constructor int and string. So we will have to provide some value integer and string. So let me put some ID, like suppose that my ID is 345, comma, and I will give some name like Sweta. Fine. So what it will give in output? It will print this ID and name. See, this is ID and this is a name. Again, if you want to print multiple names, you can create multiple object. Here I can give object 1. This is a reference variable. You can put any name, anything you can print put here. And here I can give, let's say, my name, Rekha, and here I can give some ID like 45. And if I'll run this program, it will again give the output like this. So this is a parameterized constructor where we are passing some parameter. This is a parameter. This is also called a argument. We are passing an argument, or you can say we are passing some parameter. And whatever the parameter you will pass here, you will have to put some value according to your parameter. So if you are passing some integer, then you will have to pass the integer value. If you are passing some string name, string value, then you will have to pass some string. And string always will be in double inverted comma. So this is a parameterized constructor. Now constructor has been completed. Now we will see another topic. So constructor is completed. Type of constructor also we have completed, default constructor and parameterized constructor. Now we will see this keyword. And then after that we will see this static keyword. So what is this keyword? This keyword basically it is a keyword and it refers to the immediate current class data member. Let me write. It refers. So it refers immediate. Let me go into the program then. So suppose that this is a ID and these data will refers to the immediate current class data member. Let's suppose that we have one more class and there we have a same ID and name, but it will not refer to the superclass. It will refer only immediate current class data member. What it is saying? It refers immediate current class data member. Let me unbold it. So let me see how it works. So if I'll write this keyword here, what it will do? It will refer this ID. This ID, it will refer to this immediate current class data member, this. And again, if I'll write here this is a keyword which refers, why it is giving, okay, here will be name. So it will refer again immediate current class data member, this name. It will refer to this name. So this is how this works. This keyword works. This is the only thing. Now we will understand the static keyword. So why we use the static keyword? What is the use of static keyword and what is the definition? If I will ask you what is the definition of static keyword, then what you will say? So I will explain you. Basically, this static keyword in Java is used for the memory management. It is used for the memory management. Let me write. It is used for the memory management in Java. And static can be variable. We can use the static variable. We can use the static keyword with method. We have a static block and we can use static keyword with nested class as well. So let me explain you first this static variable. So why we use static variable? Basically, it is used for the common property. Static variable, suppose that in one, suppose that we have a IBM company, right? IBM is a company, but under the IBM, there are so many employees, right? So if I tell you, like write company name in front of every employee, company name will be IBM. So if you are going to write company name in front of each and every employee, then what it will do? It will take more and more memory. To save our memory, we are using static keyword. So what we will do? We will create a company name is equal to IBM and we will use static. So we will have to declare at once and it will use for each and every employee who is working under IBM. So we will see while programming. So let's first we can see the program of this variable, static variable. Then it will make you understand better. So let me create one package again. Static keyword. Class name, this is a package name. Static, and package name always will start from small letter. Static, and after that you can use capital letter keywords. Again I will write one class. I will write a class with the name of static variable, and class name always will start from capital letter. Static variable. Now let's say suppose that I was saying in IBM company there are so many employees. So what we will do, if I am asking to store the data of each and every employee who is working under IBM, then how you can store? So what we will do, we will write int employee ID, right? So employee ID will be unique for each and every employee. So that's why we are creating separately. This cannot be common. The employee ID will be unique for each and every employee. Now we can take some name. Name also will be unique. So we will declare like this name, but company name will be the same for each and every employee. So how we can write company underscore name, and company name. Let's say suppose that I'm saying company name is IBM, right? And this company name, it is a string type, so data type will be string. See, it is not giving an any error. It will not give any error. But suppose that we have 1,000 of employee in IBM. So for 1,000 of employee, if you are going to create this, then it doesn't make sense, because this idea name can be unique, but this is a common name. IBM, this company name will be common for each and every employee. Then what we will do, if we are going to create this data type for each and every employee, then it will take more and more memory. So that's why we are using static keyword. Static. So once you will use this static keyword, you don't need to write in front of each and every employee. You just need to declare somewhere at once only within the program, and it will be useful for each and every employee. So what it will do, it will save our memory. So this is a static variable. Now we will understand static method. What is the static method? So let me again write the theory, then you understand better. So there are some points which you need to focus. First point is in static method. First point is a static method belongs to the class rather than the object of the class. Let me write, then you will understand. A static method belongs to the class rather than the object of a class. I will make you understand while creating a code. When we will write a code, then I will make you understand. And what is the second point? Static method can be invoked without the need of creating an instance. You don't need to create any object to call a static method, because it belongs to the class. So a static method can be invoked without creating an instance of a class. This is the second point. Now we will understand the last point. A static method can access static data member and can change the value of static data member only. So a static method can access static data member and can change the value of it. So these 3 points we need to focus for the static method. So let's create a program, then we can understand. Let me create one more class, that is static method. So again, in the static method, we can use this employee ID, and we can use the name. So name will be string, and we can use the same this company name. We can copy it from here. This is a static data member. Now we can create one static method. Static void, and we can write name of the method is change. Fine. So what we are going to do again, suppose that here we have ID, right? So we can pass some else. What we can do, we can change the value, we can change the company name here. So how we can change? Just we can write a company name here. Company name is equal to, let's say suppose that we can change IBM to TCS. So this static method can change the value of static data member. Fine. What it is saying, a static method belongs to the class rather than object of a class. So it belongs to the class only. And second point, what it is saying, it invoked without a need of creating an instance. Means for this method, for this static method, you don't need to call, you don't need to after creating an object, you don't need to create with the help of reference variable, because it belongs to the class. So here we don't need any object. Static method can access static data member and can change the value of it. Again, see here, static method can access the static data member and can change the value of static data member. So here what we are doing, here we are changing the value. We are changing the company name here, IBM to TCS. So let me create one more method. We can write one, this is not a static method, but we can write constructor to print the value. So suppose that this is a constructor, and I am creating a parameterized construct, as we have seen earlier in the previous topic. So here how we can do, again ID, employee ID is a integer type, so I will take int comma, again name will be in string, so I will copy it from here and paste it here. So I am creating a parameterized constructor here. And what we will do in the parameterized constructor, we will initialize this value. ID is equal to ID. Name is equal to name. We will use this keyword as well. Since we already have seen this keyword, so we will use this keyword as well. Because what this keyword do, it will refer to the immediate current class data member. It will refer these data members. Fine. So let me write some statement to print these values. So suppose that if I want to print this ID, then I will write ID plus, and then plus. Here we will print some name, and again we can print some value of company name. And what we will do, we will write this company name. So what it will print? It will print ID, it will print name, and it will print this company company name as well. Fine. Now we can create one main method. And I was saying static method doesn't need to create an object. What we will do, it belongs to the class. So I will write a class here, and then I will call this method. Dot, we have a static method, this static method, change. If I will run this, see what it will give an output. It's not giving an output since we have not given any statement here. If I will run this, if I will create an object, and I will put this, I will call this constructor, then only it will give an output, because system.out.println is written within this constructor, parameterized constructor. So what it will do, we will create an object. While creating an object, this constructor will get fired. So let me create this object. Obj is equal to new and this constructor. So while creating, why it is giving an error? Because we need to pass some parameter. What would be the parameter? ID and name. So suppose that my ID is 22 and my name is, let's say, Rekha. So once I will create this object, it will get called this parameterized constructor, and it will give an output. What it will give an output? See what I have passed here, ID and name only. But since this is a static data member, we don't need to pass this in parameter. We just need to initialize at once only here. So let me run this program. What it will give an output? It will give 22 Rekha and company name will be TCS. It will not give an output this IBM. Let me run this program. See, it is giving an output 22 Rekha and TCS. Let me comment this out. If I will comment this, I will comment this line of code, line number 18. Then what it will happen? This line of code will not work because I am commenting this line. And if I will run this program now, then see the output. It is giving output IBM. This IBM. But I was saying for the static method, we don't need to create an object. It belongs to the class. So what we will do, we will write a class name and then dot and then method name. For the static method, we don't need to create an object since it belongs to the class. So now if I will run this program now, then it will change the company name IBM to TCS. See? Now we will move into the static block. What is the static block? Static block, basically it is used to initialize the static data member. Again, let me go into the theory part and we will write static block. It is a static block. First point is static block. It is used to initialize the static data member. Second point, what it is saying, it is executed before the main method at the time of class load. While compiling, it will get executed. Before the main method, it will execute. Wherever you will write it inside the class, it will execute before the main method while loading a class. So let me write it. It is executed before the main method. At the time of class load, or you can say class loading. So let me write a program first. Static block. So we will write a program for static block as well. So suppose that I'm creating one main method. This is a main method. And suppose that, let me write one statement here, sys out. And suppose that here I'm writing hello Sweta. As of now, I have not created any block. Now I'm going to create a block here. How we can create a block? Static. We will write a static, simply we will write a static. And then we can use this block. And now we can give some statement here. And we can print here, this is static block. So what it will print first? It will print first this line of code. And then it will give an output this. Let me run this program. See, it is saying this is a static block. And after that it is saying hello Sweta. So what it is happening? It will execute while loading a class. Means it will execute before the main method. And then after that main method will execute. Wherever it will be written within the class. So suppose that if I'm taking a code from here and let me write here. So again, this main method I have closed here and I have written static method here. Let me run this program and see the output, what it will give. See again, I have written a main method first and after that I have written this static block. But still it is giving an output this first, this static block first, and after that it is executing the code of main method. So it doesn't matter where you have written within the class, but every time it will execute first and then it will execute this main method every time. I'm running again. So this is a static block. Now we will understand this nested class. This is the last topic of this video. So I will create a static nested class. static nested class. So I will create one main method here. Again, main method. This is the main method. Now let me create some static data member here. So what is a static data member? We have seen in first video, static data member cannot be local, and whatever the variable we will declare along with the static keyword, that is called static data member or static variable. So suppose that we need to take some data here. Let's say suppose that I'm taking a data 30, some value I'm taking, and the data will be integer type. Data type will be integer, and any variable which we are declaring with the static keyword, that is static variable. Now I'm going to create one more class. Since we are going to see this static nested class, so we will create one more class. The class will be, we can see inner class, since we are creating a class inside the class, and class name always will start from capital letter. So this class we have created inside the class. This is a main class and this is a subclass. This subclass is called nested class. And here we can use static keyword. So this is called static nested class. So let me write some method here. Suppose that I am creating a one method void, and I want to change the value of I want to print some value. So what we can do, we can create one method. Suppose that I am creating a void and I'm creating one method that is called display. I want to display this value. So this is a method, but I don't want to create an object. So what we will do, if I don't want to create an object, then what we can do, we can create this method as a static method. If I will create as a static method, then we don't need to create an object. And here we can print some value, system.out.println, and here we can say data. Let me give some message here. Data is, and here we can give this value, data. Now it will print this value. So if I will run this program, then it will not give any output, since we have not created any object and we have not called this static method as well. So for this static method, since this statement has been written inside the static method, so we don't need to create an object. What we can do, this belongs to the class. So what we will do, we will copy this class name. Sorry, something went wrong. It has went in this predefined class. Let me go inside the nested class. So what we will do, we will copy this class, we will paste it here, and we will put dot. So once we will put the dot, see here, you can see this is a static nested class, and we can see here data as well. But what we need to do, we need to call this display method, but display method is not available here. So what we can do, we can copy this method and we can paste it here. Why we are moving inside this? Paste it here. See, display. Create a display method. It is not required. Why it is asking to create? Okay, since it is under nested class. See, I was not I was ignoring this nested class. That's why it is not taking. Why it is saying, why it is asking to create an method for display? Because I have written this main class name, but we have a inner class where we have written this method. This method is under inner class. So what we will have to do, we will have to write again this. That's why it was not displaying. So what we will have to do, again we will put the dot, then it is asking to write this inner class as well. So I will take this inner class. Now again if I will put this dot, then display method is showing here. We can take this display method. So if method has been written inside the class, then you will have to write both the class name, first superclass and then subclass, and then you can call this method. So here we have not created any object, but if I will run this program, then it will give the output 30. Let me run this program. Yeah. So this is enough for today. So if you want to see the previous videos, then I will keep inside the description and you can go through it. Thank you.